The story begins by introducing a man named Dong-hoon, an engineering graduate who works as a team manager at an architecture firm. He is also known for his kind personality and his total dedication to his work. On the other hand, there is a beautiful woman named Jiyeon who also works at the same place. Jiyeon is a quiet girl who was hired a few days ago as a contract employee by Dong-hoon. Additionally, she works part-time at a restaurant as a dishwasher, where she secretly often packs leftover food to take home. Upon arriving home, Jiyeon immediately eats the food she packed. Unexpectedly, a ruthless loan shark named Kwang-il has been waiting for her return. Apparently, she works hard every day to earn money just to pay off all her debts to Kwang-il. The next day, Jiyeon becomes even more stressed when the nursing home threatens to discharge her grandmother because of unpaid bills. In the end, she desperately takes her grandmother away from the nursing home, as she can no longer afford to pay the outstanding fee. Apparently, with the help of her friend named Ki-bum, Jiyeon takes her grandmother to a new apartment unknown to Kwang-il. Despite her grandmother's old age and inability to speak, Jiyeon's love for her does not diminish. Although she appears cold, Jiyeon deeply loves and cares for her grandmother, the only family she has left. Meanwhile, Dong-hoon is having a meal with his two brothers, his older brother Sang-hoon and his younger brother Ki-hoon. Among the three brothers, Dong-hoon is considered the most successful and has never been involved in any problems, making him the mother's favorite child. Quite different from his unemployed older brother, who is often beaten by his wife, and his younger brother, who is single, has unstable emotions, and loves to brawl, where he even not hesitated to slap his own brother or anyone else. Despite the madness of his older and younger brothers, the three of them are a family that cares deeply for each other. After eating with his brothers, Dong-hoon returns home and meets his wife, Yoon-hee, who works as a lawyer, and they also have a son who is studying abroad. However, being separated from their young son has made Dong-hoon's household less harmonious. The next day, Dong-hoon's boss, Mr. Dong-woon, is planning something to oust the company's new president because he and other officials believe the new president is not yet fit to lead the company. However, the new president, named Jun-young, discovered this plan. With the help of a director named Director Sang-tae, he then devised a plan to have Mr. Dong-woon fired. Soon after, Dong-hoon received a package containing 50 million won in cash because a rival company wanted to hire him as a spy. This made Dong-hoon panic, and he tried to keep it a secret from everyone. When all the workers have gone home, Dong-hoon intends to retrieve the package. However, Jiyeon suddenly appears and demands that Dong-hoon treat her to dinner. Afraid that his package will be discovered, Dong-hoon reluctantly agrees to her request. After dinner, Jiyeon returns to the office and takes the package of money with the help of a man named Chundae, a janitor she knows at the office. The next day, Dong-hoon panicked because the package he had stored the day before had disappeared. Dong-hoon then suspected that Jiyeon had taken the package without his knowledge. Meanwhile, Mr. Dong-woon was being interrogated by the security inspection team regarding the report of a 50 million won bribe he received the day before. Fortunately, Mr. Dong-woon managed to prove that he had never received the package of money, as it turned out that the package was part of a plan by Director Sang-tae and Jun-young to get Mr. Dong-woon fired from the company. However, the package was mistakenly sent to Dong-hoon due to a name error, as he shares the same first name as Mr. Dong-woon. Realizing this, Jun-young instructed Director Sang-tae to fire Dong-hoon instead, as both of them would otherwise be in trouble. Eventually, the officers dragged Dong-hoon in for interrogation and he crossed paths with Jiyeon, who had just arrived at the office, but she completely ignored Dong-hoon. A short while later, Jiyeon paid her debt to Kwang-il's henchmen, totaling 18 million won. When Kwang-il arrived, he intended to report to the police, suspecting the money was stolen. Feeling in danger, Jiyeon vandalized Kwang-il's car and then took back the 18 million won. After that, she discarded all the money and instructed Chundae to report to Mr. Dong-woon that he had found a package in the trash. Although the 50 million won was found, proving Dong-hoon was innocent, Mr. Dong-woon asked the security team to continue investigating the case and to keep the discovery of the money a secret until the real culprit was caught. Additionally, Mr. Dong-woon was convinced that someone wanted to get rid of both Dong-hoon and himself from the company. Sometime later, the board of directors then held a meeting to find out who was behind the 50 million won and the anonymous email that slandered Mr. Dong-woon and team manager Dong-hoon. On the other hand, Dong-hoon was asking Jiyeon on the train about the whereabouts of the money. With a cold demeanor, she said that she had thrown the package in the trash at the office. On the other hand, the reason Junyoung wanted to fire Dong-hoon was not just a name mix-up, but he genuinely wanted Dong-hoon out of the company because he had been having an affair with Yoon-hee, who is Dong-hoon's wife. Even so, Yoon-hee disagreed with Dong-hoon being dishonorably dismissed from his job. As time went on, the conflict between Mr. Dong-woon and director Sang-tae intensified. With the evidence of the 50 million won that Dong-hoon had discarded, Mr. Dong-woon was convinced that Junyoung and director Sang-tae were the masterminds who had framed them both. Hearing that the company was in trouble, the leader, as the founder of the company, came to check on the situation. At that moment, senior director Mr. Wang explained to the leader that Dong-hoon did not accept the bribe, but instead threw it in the trash. Impressed by Dong-hoon's honesty, the leader intended to invite Dong-hoon to dine with him at another time. Realizing that something was wrong between Dong-hoon and Junyoung, Ji-yeon took the opportunity to steal Junyoung's secret phone while they were in the elevator together. Although Junyoung noticed this, he couldn't do anything because they were in the elevator with Mr. Dong-woon. After that, Mr. Dong-woon informed Dong-hoon that the package containing 50 million won had actually been found by a cleaning service worker some time ago. And Mr. Dong-woon was very confident that all of this was Junyoung's doing. Regardless of who the culprit was, this news made Dong-hoon feel greatly relieved, as he could be free from all accusations. Dong-hoon also realized that Ji-yeon had indeed thrown away the package of money. After that, he said he would treat Ji-yeon to dinner as an apology for accusing her of stealing the package. However, Ji-yeon refused because she had to work overtime that night. Not long after, Ji-yeon went to Junyoung's office and told him that she knew about his affair with Dong-hoon's wife. However, Junyoung need not worry because she would help him get rid of Dong-hoon and Mr. Dong-woon from the company. After that, Ji-yeon demanded 20 million won in return for doing this dirty work. That night, after work, Ji-yeon met Dong-hoon again, and he treated her to dinner. The next day, Mr. Dong-woon mentioned that it seemed Junyoung had deliberately sent the package of money to get Dong-hoon fired. Hearing this, Dong-hoon explained that Junyoung had been his junior in college, and their relationship had not been very good. However, he was very sure that he had no issues with him. Not long after, the leader returned to the office and invited Dong-hoon to dinner. However, Dong-hoon politely declined because he had to go somewhere. Although rejected, the leader was genuinely interested in Dong-hoon because of his honesty. That night, Dong-hoon treated Ji-yeon to dinner again, and their relationship gradually became closer. Shortly after, while on the train, Ji-yeon took the opportunity to install a voice recording app on Dong-hoon's phone. The next day, Ji-yeon eavesdropped on Dong-hoon's and Mr. Dong-woon's plan to expose the main culprit behind the package of 50 million won sent the previous day. But she quickly moved to stop Mr. Dong-woon. With the help of Ki-bum, Ji-yeon successfully drugged Mr. Dong-woon and took him to a hotel on the outskirts of the city, causing him to miss an important meeting with a company client. After Mr. Dong-woon got into trouble, Dong-hoon firmly questioned Junyoung about whether he would be the next victim. However, he denied it and said there was no point in getting rid of a team manager like him, as it clearly wouldn't threaten his position as president. Meanwhile, Sang-hoon and Ki-hoon had started a house cleaning service, which made Dong-hoon and their mother very happy because at least now they had an income and a clear purpose in life. One night, Dong-hoon gave Ji-yeon 1 million won, explaining that from that day on, he would no longer treat her to meals because he was afraid of rumors about their relationship. The next day, Mr. Dong-woon was seen transferred to a branch office in Busan because he had missed the important client meeting. After successfully getting rid of Mr. Dong-woon, Junyoung then paid Ji-yeon 10 million won. After that, Ji-yeon gave the money to Kwang-il and telling him never to come to her house again. She also brought up her dark past when she killed Kwang-il's father, who was the most ruthless loan shark, which infuriated Kwang-il, who immediately beat Ji-yeon. On the other hand, Junyoung, who sensed that Ji-yeon was not an ordinary person, asked Yoon-hee to find out who she really was. Shortly after, Junyoung was shocked to learn that Ji-yeon had once killed someone. The next day, Ki-bum told Ji-yeon that he was having difficulty finding any faults with Dong-hoon. He even gave up because Dong-hoon was such a good person, making it almost impossible to find any mistakes. That night, Dong-hoon listened to Sang-hoon's story about his work earlier that day. While he was sweeping, the dust he swept accidentally hit the building owner who was passing by. At that moment, the owner got angry and ordered Sang-hoon to apologize while kneeling. He then felt devastated when he realized that their mother had seen him kneeling. Knowing this, Dong-hoon went straight to the building owner and raged at him. He even demanded that the man come to their house and apologize to their mother for seeing his brother kneeling. If he didn't, Dong-hoon would fine him and order the man to renovate the entire building for violating regulations. Not long after, the building owner came to their house and apologized for the incident. After resolving the issue, Dong-hoon drank with his brothers and friends. Sometime later, the board of directors then prepared to appoint a new director to replace Mr. Dong-woon, who had gone to Busan. At that moment, Mr. Wong nominated Dong-hoon as a candidate. On the other hand, Mr. Dong-woon gave Dong-hoon a list of incoming calls to Jun-young's phone over the past month. He hoped that Dong-hoon could find something in those records. At the same time, Ji-yeon was seen overheard their conversation and immediately reported it to Jun-young, where she explained that Mr. Dong-woon and Dong-hoon were investigating the call history on his phone. When she arrived home, her grandmother asked Ji-yeon to take her outside to see the moonlight. As a good granddaughter, Ji-yeon then took her grandmother out and fulfilled her request. However, when Ji-yeon was about to return home, she met Dong-hoon on the street. Seeing Ji-yeon struggling, Dong-hoon helped her by carrying her grandmother back home. At that moment, Dong-hoon's sincerity left Ji-yeon feeling conflicted, as she felt torn about ruining the life of such a kind-hearted man. After that night, Ji-yeon suddenly changed. She even dared to slap a senior employee who was bad-mouthing Dong-hoon during lunch. Not only that, but Ji-yeon also recorded a conversation with Jun-young, in which he admitted that he was only using Dong-hoon's wife for his own satisfaction because a married woman would never expose her own affair to the public. The next day, Dong-hoon began to examine the call history on Jun-young's phone and found a public phone number that frequently contacted Jun-young. However, he was shocked to find that the public phone was very close to the office where his wife worked. Shortly after, Yoon-hee came to use the public phone, making Dong-hoon suspicious that his wife was having an affair with Jun-young. Not long after, Dong-hoon's suspicion grew stronger when he discovered his wife's car and Jun-young's car both visiting the same hotel. Realizing this, Dong-hoon understood why Jun-young wanted to fire him from the company. After that, the bitter reality left Dong-hoon heartbroken, and he found himself daydreaming on a bridge. He couldn't believe that his wife had been betraying him all this time. At the same time, Ji-yeon hurriedly searched for Dong-hoon, worried that he might do the unthinkable. Fortunately, Dong-hoon was not someone who gave up easily. Despite his broken heart, he kept the whole situation a secret from everyone, including his brothers, and acted as if nothing had happened. Upon arriving home, Dong-hoon tried to hold himself together for the sake of his young son's future, where he was willing to endure despite his wife's actions breaking his heart. As long as no one knew, Dong-hoon would remain silent and try to forget about his wife's affair. Meanwhile, Ji-yeon continued to be harassed by Kwang-il, making her life miserable. After that, she cried and lamenting her sad life, while listening to Dong-hoon's voice recording from the other day, which described her as a good person. The next day, a commotion occurred at the office because an employee who was slapped by Ji-yeon suddenly lashed out at her, unable to accept her disrespectful behavior. Shortly after, the other staff explained to Dong-hoon that the issue started when Ji-yeon slapped the man's face during dinner with colleagues the previous evening. Learning this, Dong-hoon then asked Ji-yeon why she slapped her coworker, and Ji-yeon honestly replied that she slapped the man because he insulted and badmouthed Dong-hoon. This answer left him speechless, as he hadn't expected that beneath Ji-yeon's cold demeanor, she cared deeply for him. Dong-hoon then thanked Ji-yeon by treating her to dinner. However, he asked Ji-yeon to pretend she didn't hear anything if something like that happened again. Hearing this, Ji-yeon said she wished everyone could pretend like that because anyone wanting to forget their dark past could be free from all pressure and fear. The next day, Dong-hoon went to attend a meeting invitation with the leader, and it turned out that Jun-young was also there. Dong-hoon's emotions became increasingly uncontrollable when he found one of his wife's gloves in Jun-young's tent. In the end, Dong-hoon confronted Jun-young, revealing that he knew about his affair with Yoon. Dong-hoon then demanded that Jun-young end the relationship with his wife amicably. Otherwise, he would expose all of his misdeeds to the leader. He also threatened Jun-young not to tell Yoon-hee that he had discovered their affair. After Dong-hoon's threat, Jun-young asked Ji-yeon not to bother Dong-hoon for a while. He even scolded director Sang-tae for constantly causing trouble for Dong-hoon at the office. Meanwhile, on the way home, Dong-hoon told Ji-yeon to take her grandmother to a nursing home. where he also suggested that she change her address to a different residence so that her grandmother could be cared for free of charge. Jiyeon then asked why Dong-hoon was willing to treat her to dinner. As in her entire life, no one had ever treated her to a meal more than 4 times, except for Dong-hoon. Hearing this, Dong-hoon said that treating Jiyeon to meals was his way of showing gratitude because she had thrown away the bribe package. If Jiyeon hadn't disposed of it, would have been fired from the company. Dong-hoon also revealed that the package was Junyoung's doing, but he still wanted to retaliate against him. Before leaving, Dong-hoon also left food for Jiyeon's grandmother. Once again, Dong-hoon's kindness deeply touched Jiyeon, as she knew how much suffering Dong-hoon was enduring. The next day, Dong-hoon tried to provide an explanation to Mr. Dong-woon about the call history results from Junyoung's phone. At that moment, he lied, saying that he hadn't found anything. While Dong-hoon struggled to cover up his wife's disgrace, Yoon-hee was enjoying an affair with Junyoung at a hotel, without any concern for her child or her husband. On the other hand, Jiyeon was giving money to pay off her remaining debt. Seeing this, Kwang-il became curious about where she got so much money to be able to pay off all her debts. The next day, Dong-hoon invited his wife to attend his mother's birthday celebration. However, Yoon-hee refused, claiming she had a lot of work at the office. Hearing this, Dong-hoon immediately took Junyoung to the rooftop, and a heated argument ensued between them. Jiyeon, who had been eavesdropping on their conversation, immediately went to see Yoon-hee and gave her a recording of Junyoung saying that he was just using her for fun. This revelation made Yoon-hee cry and regret trusting a jerk like Junyoung. After meeting Yoon-hee, Jiyeon went for a drink with Dong-hoon. Despite their tough lives, Dong-hoon's gentle demeanor made Jiyeon smile for the first time. But unbeknownst to them, Kwang-il was watching them from a distance. Not long after, Dong-hoon escorted Jiyeon home. During their way, Jiyeon tried to pretend she didn't know that Dong-hoon had been cheated on by his wife. However, Dong-hoon was taken aback when she suddenly offered him words of encouragement. Sometime later, Yoon-hee eventually decided to attend her mother-in-law's birthday celebration. At that moment, the atmosphere became even warmer when their son joined the family gathering via video call. Afterward, Yoon-hee went to see Junyoung and ended their relationship. At that moment, she felt so ashamed for ever loving a scoundrel like Junyoung. When she got home, Yoon-hee broke down in tears. A few days later, Jiyeon received bad news from Ki-bum that Kwang-il was investigating her relationship with Dong-hoon. Meanwhile, at the office, Dong-hoon received congratulations from his subordinates, as his name had officially been put forward as a candidate for the new company director. At the same time, the news made Junyoung panic, because if Dong-hoon became a director, his position in the company would be threatened. Junyoung then gave a sum of money to Jiyeon and asked her to continue getting close to Dong-hoon. Because he planned to frame Dong-hoon, making it look like he was forcing Jiyeon to date him. Hearing this, Jiyeon found herself in a difficult dilemma because she didn't want to hurt a kind and caring man like Dong-hoon. In the end, Jiyeon decided to support Dong-hoon in becoming a director so that a scoundrel like Junyoung could be fired from the company. Dong-hoon then asked why she hated Junyoung so much, and Jiyeon replied that she would hate anyone who did evil to Dong-hoon. Upon arriving home, Jiyeon informed her grandmother that next week, she would take her to a free nursing home because Dong-hoon had helped her get her grandmother care without any cost. On the other hand, Dong-hoon told his 2 brothers that the company had nominated him as a candidate for the new director. Hearing this, Sang-hoon and Ki-hoon were delighted and immediately told their mother. They even threw a drinking party with their friends to celebrate. The next day, one of Kwang-il's men contacted Dong-hoon and mentioned that some time ago, Jiyeon had brought a package of money in his name. However, Jiyeon returned the package because she feared Kwang-il would report it to the police. They also warned Dong-hoon to be careful because Jiyeon was a very dangerous girl. After hearing this news, Dong-hoon was deeply disappointed, as he hadn't expected that Jiyeon had thrown away the package of money not to save him, but for other reasons. When Jiyeon noticed Dong-hoon's changed behavior, she called Kwang-il and asked what he had done to Dong-hoon. Kwang-il then told her that he had revealed all of Jiyeon's misdeeds to Dong-hoon, which made her stunned upon hearing this. After that, Jiyeon started avoiding Dong-hoon because she felt disappointed in herself after Dong-hoon discovered what she had been doing. On the other hand, Yoon-hee, fearing her secret would be exposed, met with Jiyeon and offered her 30 million won to quit her job and go as far away as possible. However, Jiyeon refused, saying that if she left, Junyoung would find someone else to get rid of Dong-hoon. Ji-yeon also revealed that Dong-hoon already knew about their affair. Meanwhile, Dong-hoon went to see Chundae to find out who Ji-yeon really was. At that moment, Chundae explained that Ji-yeon's late mother had many debts with loan sharks. Since she was a child, Ji-yeon had worked hard to pay off her mother's debts. Among all the people her mother owed money to, Kwang-il's father was the most ruthless loan shark, as he would hurt Ji-yeon and her grandmother every day. Until one day, Ji-yeon was forced to stab him to death because she couldn't bear seeing her grandmother being beaten anymore. However, Ji-yeon was acquitted in court, as her actions were considered self-defense. But this made Kwang-il hold a grudge and continue to extort Ji-yeon to this day. After learning everything, Dong-hoon went to Kwang-il's place and asked why he was cruel enough to extort a poor girl like Ji-yeon. Dong-hoon also said that Kwang-il's father didn't die because of Ji-yeon's fault, as anyone would kill someone who dared to beat their family. At the same time, Ji-yeon, who was eavesdropping on their conversation, immediately burst into tears. Because she was deeply touched by Dong-hoon's defense, willing to fight Kwang-il for her sake. On the way home, one of Dong-hoon's friends was shocked to see his bruised and battered face. Not long after, his two brothers arrived with dozens of their friends to find the person who had beaten Dong-hoon. However, Dong-hoon explained that he had gotten into a fight after accidentally bumping into a man's shoulder while walking and assured them not to worry, as the issue had been resolved peacefully. Although the story seemed implausible, Sang-hoon asked Dong-hoon to keep the incident a secret from Yoon-hee. When Dong-hoon arrived home, Yoon-hee was immediately shocked to see his battered face. But he only claimed that he had gotten into a scuffle with Ki-hoon after accidentally kicking him in the head while playing soccer. Seeing her husband injured, Yoon-hee couldn't hold back her tears. After that, she felt so ashamed, seeing her husband acting as if he didn't know about her betrayal. A few days later, Ji-yeon gave Dong-hoon a pair of sandals as a gift, thanking him for helping her grandmother get into a nursing home the next day. The next day, Dong-hoon accompanied Ji-yeon's grandmother to the nursing home, where she thanked him for being such a kind man. At that moment, Ji-yeon's grandmother also asked Dong-hoon to always take care of her granddaughter. After ensuring that Ji-yeon's grandmother was settled comfortably and safely in the nursing home, Dong-hoon advised Ji-yeon to live her life as she wished and to try to socialize with her co-workers at the office. Additionally, he said that everyone has a past they want to forget. However, as long as one can change for the better, the past doesn't matter. On the other hand, Junyoung was meeting with the private detective named Jong-soo that he hired. He then explained everything from Ji-yeon's debts to Dong-hoon frequently helping her grandmother. At that moment, Jong-soo felt that the relationship between Ji-yeon and Dong-hoon was not going according to Junyoung's plan. After that, Junyoung immediately summoned Ji-yeon and asked her to explain what was really going on between her and Dong-hoon. Ji-yeon then explained that she had tried everything to make Dong-hoon like her. However, Dong-hoon is not a man easily tempted by women, and he only saw Ji-yeon as an orphan girl who had once been in distress. Not long after, Ji-yeon realized she was being watched, and she immediately ran to stop the person. Although the man escaped, Ji-yeon managed to grab his camera. Realizing the situation was dangerous, Ji-yeon then told Junyoung not to meet her for a while. On the other hand, the man turned out to be Ki-bum, which he and Ji-yeon did this on purpose to make Junyoung stop meeting her. Not long after, Ji-yeon saw Jong-soo watching Dong-hoon. Realizing this, Ji-yeon suddenly declared her love for Dong-hoon, which shocked and angered him. She then told Dong-hoon to hit her on the head if he didn't like her. Apparently, she was forced to do all this to thwart Jong-soo's plan to frame Dong-hoon for having an affair with her. The next day, Dong-hoon was surprised to find the sandals that Ji-yeon had given him as a gift were missing, as she had taken them back and thrown them in the trash. After that, Dong-hoon was interrogated by his superiors about his relationship with Ji-yeon, because they were all afraid that director Sang-tae would use the rumor to tarnish Dong-hoon's reputation. When Dong-hoon arrived home, he accidentally overheard Yoon-hee talking on the phone with Junyoung. At that moment, Yoon-hee had realized that Dong-hoon knew about her affair with Junyoung. Hearing all this, Dong-hoon could only remain silent, holding back his sadness and disappointment because he now doubted his ability to maintain his marriage. The next day, having lost his patience, Dong-hoon immediately confronted Junyoung and slapped him for telling his wife. He also declared that from now on, he would completely destroy Junyoung. Due to the commotion, they were both taken into custody by the company directors. Where Junyoung claimed that Dong-hoon had misunderstood, saying that Mr. Wang's man had given Dong-hoon a photo of him meeting Dong-hoon's wife. On the way home, Dong-hoon asked Ji-yeon to return the sandals he had given her. However, Ji-yeon suddenly said that Dong-hoon must fire her in front of everyone tomorrow, claiming it was because she always flirted with him. Ji-yeon also promised not to say anything when Dong-hoon fired her. However, he refused. The next day, Yoon-hee finally apologized and confessed all her wrongdoings to Dong-hoon. Her confession made Dong-hoon so angry that he punched the apartment door. While crying, Dong-hoon said that Yoon-hee should have asked for a divorce rather than secretly having an affair with Jun-young. All this time, Dong-hoon had tried to be a good husband and father. However, Yoon-hee heartlessly destroyed their marriage without considering their son's future. At that moment, she justified her actions by saying she did it because Dong-hoon always prioritized his mother and his two brothers. Even so, Yoon-hee was willing to accept whatever decision Dong-hoon made, whether to stay together or separate, as she already regretted her actions deeply. At the same time, Ji-yeon, who was eavesdropping on Dong-hoon's argument, just cried at home. The next day, Ji-yeon went to visit her grandmother at the nursing home and couldn't hold back her tears when her grandmother asked about Dong-hoon. Not wanting to make her grandmother sad, Ji-yeon said that Dong-hoon was doing fine. After that, Ji-yeon went to see Yoon-hee and Jun-young, where Yoon-hee told Jun-young to stop all his plans to bring down her husband. If he refused, Yoon-hee would expose their affair to the public, which ruining Jun-young's life. With this threat, Jun-young reluctantly asked Ji-yeon to stop everything. Before leaving, Jun-young explained to Yoon-hee that he had actually been deceived by Ji-yeon because it turned out that she truly liked Dong-hoon. Curious about Jun-young's words, Yoon-hee immediately contacted Ji-yeon to ask if it was true that she liked Dong-hoon. Knowing this, Ji-yeon then replied that she indeed liked Dong-hoon. This response brought tears to Yoon-hee's eyes. Even so, she thanked Ji-yeon for still defending her husband. When Ji-yeon arrived home, she found Kwang-il waiting for her. He then spoke about their past, revealing that he used to be very kind to Ji-yeon, where he often helped Ji-yeon when her father was beating her. After that, Kwang-il cried while reminiscing about those times, and he never thought he would come to hate the only girl he liked. Kwang-il now realized that what Dong-hoon had said about Ji-yeon was true. The next day, director Sang-tae called Ji-yeon in for an interview, as he intended to reveal her relationship with Dong-hoon in front of the leader. However, his plan did not go smoothly because Ji-yeon made a confession that greatly improved Dong-hoon's image. After the interview, Dong-hoon was informed by his superior that Ji-yeon's confession had made his path to becoming a director even smoother. Dong-hoon then scolded Ji-yeon for exaggerating because he wasn't as good as she had made him out to be during the interview. However, Ji-yeon insisted that he was a very good person. As they were about to leave, Jun-young appeared and slapped Ji-yeon, ordering her to leave and never come back. However, Ji-yeon refused, saying she would not leave until Dong-hoon fired Jun-young from the company. Using the recording of Jun-young's evil plans, Ji-yeon then threatened him to stop bothering her. Not long after, Ki-hoon came to Dong-hoon's house to deliver food. Seeing the damaged door, Ki-hoon immediately asked Yoon-hee what had happened. Having no other choice, she was forced to tell Ki-hoon everything, which left Ki-hoon feeling very disappointed after hearing the truth. On the other hand, Ki-bum urged Ji-yeon to flee immediately because Mr. Dong-woon had ordered the police to hunt them down. However, Ji-yeon asked for one more day to settle everything with Dong-hoon. At the same time, Dong-hoon was seen stopped by his brother's office after work. Dong-hoon's arrival was met with tears from Sang-hoon and anger from Ki-hoon. This situation almost led to a fight between them. Once things calmed down, Dong-hoon explained that his marital problems were very difficult for him to bear. However, Dong-hoon tried his best to suppress the issue because he didn't want to worry his brothers and mother, and he also didn't want to ruin his son's future. On the other hand, Jong-soo was trying to find out where Ki-bum lived from Kwang-il. Realizing the importance of the situation, Kwang-il chose not to tell Jong-soo. Afterward, Kwang-il went to Ki-bum's house to take some important items and his computer. Just after they left, the police arrived to search the house. The next day, Dong-hoon had an interview for a promotion, where he was able to easily answer every question from director Sang-tae, and his 20 years of work experience made Dong-hoon very competent in his job. However, director Sang-tae suddenly asked why Dong-hoon accepted Ji-yeon as a contract employee, despite her having killed someone. Hearing this, Dong-hoon explained that Ji-yeon had only been defending herself, and the court had declared her not guilty. Dong-hoon then asked why director Sang-tae would judge an orphan girl whom the law had already protected. At the same time, Ji-eun was momentarily halted, but then continued her escape while crying after hearing Dong-hoon's defense. After the interview, Dong-hoon received a report that Ji-eun had disappeared without a trace. He became even more worried when he found a new pair of sandals that Ji-eun had left in his drawer. Jong-soo informed Junyoung that Ji-eun and Ki-bum had left and taken all their belongings because Mr. Dong-woon had deployed the police to arrest Ki-bum. A panicked Junyoung then instructed Jong-soo to catch them before the police did. On the way home, Ji-eun suddenly called Dong-hoon. While crying, she apologized and thanked him for being so kind to her. Realizing he couldn't stop Ji-eun from leaving, Dong-hoon simply asked her to always keep in touch if anything happened to her or her grandmother. Meanwhile, Ji-eun's departure made the leader angry, where he ordered his men to find her immediately and bring her back to the company because she was diligent in her work, even as a contract employee. Sometime later, Dong-hoon was officially promoted to director, and his employees were very happy with the news. After that, a grand party was held with his two brothers and his friend, as well as his mother and Yoon-hee, who were also present to celebrate the event. On the other hand, Ki-bum was captured by the police. After a lengthy interrogation, Mr. Dong-woon was shocked to learn that Ki-bum was a close friend of Ji-eun. Mr. Dong-woon then brought Dong-hoon to examine Ki-bum's phone, and he realized that Ji-eun had installed a voice recording app on his phone all this time. Additionally, she had been working for Junyoung to get rid of him. This revelation left Dong-hoon deeply shocked, as he couldn't believe that Ji-eun had known all the problems he had been facing. After that, Dong-hoon went to confront Junyoung and beat him up. He was furious because Junyoung had involved Ji-eun in his scheme to oust him from the company. However, Junyoung claimed that Ji-eun had actually deceived him out of tens of millions of won and had sided with Dong-hoon. After much contemplation, Dong-hoon decided to ask Ji-eun to contact him immediately. Additionally, he also mentioned that he knew she had been recording audio on his phone. Hearing this, Ji-eun panicked and quickly called Ki-bum's number. However, the person who answered was his friend, who informed her that Ki-bum had been arrested by the police. The friend also conveyed Ki-bum's message for Ji-eun to stay hidden so that Ki-bum could be released soon. The next day, Dong-hoon went straight to the public phone that Ji-eun had used the previous day, hoping to meet her there. At the same time, Ji-eun was crying and regretting all her actions as she prepared to flee. After that, Ji-eun continued her escape. While lost in thought, she was hit by a car, but she chose to get up and keep walking. On the other hand, Dong-hoon felt frustrated after he couldn't find Ji-eun and decided to tell Yoon-hee that Ji-eun had quit the company after being pursued by the police for the kidnapping case involving Mr. Dong-woon. Additionally, Dong-hoon emphasized that Ji-eun would keep running because if she were caught, she would have to reveal Junyoung and Yoon-hee's affair to the police. Hearing this, Yoon-hee cried and asked Dong-hoon to expose the affair because she couldn't bear to see Ji-eun become a fugitive just to cover up her infidelity with Junyoung. Not long after, Ki-bum was released due to a lack of evidence. After that, he contacted Ji-eun and asked her to keep all the recordings they had intercepted as evidence since someone had stolen his computer and the police couldn't find it. However, Ji-eun confessed that all the recordings on her phone had been deleted. Additionally, she was in a terrible condition due to her injuries from the car accident. Seeing Ji-eun's worrying condition, Chun-dae finally contacted Dong-hoon and informed him that Ji-eun was at his house. When he arrived, Ji-eun was shocked because Dong-hoon suddenly appeared and thanked her for siding with him all this time. However, Dong-hoon urged Ji-eun to stop running because it saddened him deeply to see her suffer just to cover up a sad issue in his life. Starting from that day, Dong-hoon promised that no matter what happened, he would live his life happily and hoped Ji-eun would do the same. After that, Dong-hoon took Ji-eun to the hospital, and he also invited Ji-eun to visit her grandmother at the nursing home the next day. Additionally, Dong-hoon assured Ji-eun not to worry because he and his wife had agreed to publicly expose Junyoung's affair. Furthermore, Yoon-hee would also help Ji-eun to avoid punishment. Meanwhile, Kwang-il and his men tried to extort Junyoung with the recording they had. He demanded a ransom of 100 million won. Otherwise, he would give the recording to the police. Knowing this, Junyoung panicked, fearing the recording would reach the police. On the other hand, Dong-hoon arranged for Ji-eun to stay temporarily at his friend's house. The next day, Dong-hoon took Ji-eun to visit her grandmother, and they both looked so happy after not seeing each other for a long time. After that, Dong-hoon took Ji-yeon to the police station, where Yoon-hee was waiting to help resolve her issues. Ji-yeon then explained everything, from the voice recording of Dong-hoon to the kidnapping of Mr. Dong-won. At that moment, she also admitted that it was all under Jun-young's orders. However, Jun-young did not remain idle. Since Ji-yeon's recording evidence had been deleted, he fabricated a story contradicting all of her confessions. On the way home, Ji-yeon received good news after Dong-hoon told her that Mr. Dong-won would not press charges against her and Ki-bum. Unfortunately, bad luck struck Dong-hoon as he found out that Ji-yeon's grandmother had passed away. Upon arriving at the morgue, Ji-yeon was devastated. She could only cry in the corner of the room, unable to bear seeing her grandmother's body. Ji-yeon had lost the only family she had, making it incredibly hard for her. Dong-hoon then tried to comfort her and helping her to face this harsh reality. On the other hand, Kwang-il panicked because Jong-soo suddenly came to seize Ki-bum's computer. Cornered, Kwang-il decided to send a copy of the recording to Dong-hoon through a package. Apparently, despite his past behavior, Kwang-il still cared about Ji-yeon. Shortly after, the package safely arrived in Dong-hoon's hands. Upon seeing the business card tucked inside, Dong-hoon realized the package was from Kwang-il. With all the recorded evidence, Jun-young could no longer deny his actions and had to face legal proceedings. A few days later, Ji-yeon informed Dong-hoon that the leader would offer her a job in Busan. She then promised to live her life differently and hoped that Dong-hoon would keep his promise to always live happily. Ji-yeon also thanked Dong-hoon for all the kindness he had shown her. Before parting ways, Ji-yeon asked Dong-hoon to hug her once, and from that day on, they never saw each other again. Sometime later, Yoon-hee decided to live abroad with her son, while Dong-hoon stayed alone at home. After enduring such complex and heartbreaking life challenges, Dong-hoon eventually cried to release his emotions. A few years later, Dong-hoon had become a successful CEO of the company he built himself. Unexpectedly, Dong-hoon met Ji-yeon again, who had just been transferred to work in Seoul. Now, Ji-yeon was truly living her life well as she had many friends and appeared more enthusiastic. After shaking hands, Ji-yeon said that she wanted to treat Dong-hoon to a delicious meal, and the story ended. Moral lesson from the story: even if you're a mess, a little kindness can make you the least messy mess. Remember, sometimes the best way to show gratitude is by treating someone to a meal, because no one hates a meal paid for by someone else.